Before we get into it, I want to be straight with you, because that's what Fixvival Secrets is built on. What you're about to hear isn't magic, and it isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. Everything I share is based on historical use, cultural practices, and publicly available research. It is not a replacement for professional pest control, local health codes, or licensed exterminator advice, especially in cases of serious infestation. Results can vary significantly depending on your environment, the severity of your problem, the climate you live in, and the layout of your home. What works in a farmhouse in rural Tennessee may perform differently in a row home in Philadelphia. And that's okay. We're here to explore, not to promise. If your situation is serious, please consult a professional. What I'm offering today is a layer of knowledge and a tool for your toolbox, not the whole toolbox. Now, let's begin. Picture this. It's the middle of the night. You're lying in bed, half asleep, and then you hear it. That soft, unmistakable scratching. Behind the wall, inside the cabinet, maybe under the floorboards, rats. If you've dealt with them, you already know that cold, sinking feeling. And if you haven't, count yourself lucky. Because rats aren't just a nuisance. They chew through wiring, contaminate food, carry disease, and according to the CDC, they've been a documented threat to human health for centuries. Modern solutions are everywhere. Snap traps, bait stations, ultrasonic devices, chemical repellents. And they all cost money, sometimes a lot of money. But here's where it gets interesting. Long before any of those products existed, before there were hardware stores or pest control franchises, people still dealt with rats successfully, using what they had. And one of the most quietly effective tools they reached for was something you could find in any market in the world for almost nothing: cayenne pepper. That's right. One of the most common spices in American kitchens, the kind that sits next to the salt on your dinner table, has a long documented history of being used to discourage rodents. And over time, as chemical solutions took over the market, this older, simpler approach became less and less mainstream. But it never disappeared entirely. Let's talk history for a moment, because this goes deeper than most people realize. Cayenne pepper, also called red pepper or capsicum annuum, has been cultivated for over 6,000 years. Indigenous peoples across Central and South America used it not just as food, but as a tool for medicine, for trade, and yes, for pest deterrents. When Spanish explorers brought capsicum plants back to Europe in the late 1400s, the spice spread across the globe with extraordinary speed. By the 1600s, it had reached Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And in every culture it touched, people found practical uses beyond the kitchen. Ancient farming communities in parts of Mexico and Central America reportedly scattered ground red pepper around grain storage areas, not just as habit, but as strategy. Rodents were devastating to food supplies, and any natural barrier that helped protect a harvest was worth using. Historical accounts from early American settlers document similar practices. Farmers and homesteaders, people who couldn't exactly run to a big box store, used available spices, herbs, and plants to manage their environments. Cayenne was among the most practical and most accessible. And this isn't purely folklore. Let's talk science, because there's a real reason this may work, and understanding it makes you smarter about how and where to use it. Cayenne pepper gets its heat from a compound called capsaicin. If you've ever accidentally rubbed your eyes after handling hot peppers, you already know what capsaicin does to sensitive tissue. It activates pain receptors, specifically a receptor called TRPV1, which responds to heat when chemical irritants. Now here's what's fascinating. Rats and mice have these same receptors, and their sense of smell is dramatically more powerful than a human's. Where we might smell a faint spiciness in the air, a rat moving close to a heavy concentration of cayenne is experiencing something far more intense, a sharp, irritating sensation in the nasal passages that signals danger. Researchers have explored capsaicin's potential as a natural deterrent in agricultural contexts. Studies looking at animal behavior around capsaicin-treated areas have noted avoidance responses. The data isn't overwhelming, and no serious researcher claims it's a permanent solution, but the mechanism is real. Think of it this way. If every time you tried to enter a room, you got a face full of pepper spray, you'd find another route pretty quickly. That's the theory behind cayenne as a deterrent. It doesn't kill, it doesn't trap, it just makes certain areas deeply unpleasant to approach. But the real question is, does this actually hold up for the average American homeowner? Here's what matters. Cayenne works best as a deterrent, not a cure. If you already have a major infestation inside your walls, scattered cayenne pepper alone is not going to solve your problem. That requires professional attention. But for many homeowners, especially those dealing with early signs of activity or looking to reduce the chance of entry, cayenne can be a reasonable, cost-effective, non-toxic layer of protection. And the cost? We're talking cents on the dollar compared to commercial repellents. A standard bottle of cayenne pepper at any grocery store runs between 75 cents and $1.50. Climate matters though. Rain washes it away. Humidity can reduce its potency. In wetter climates, Pacific Northwest, Gulf Coast, Florida, reapplication needs to be more frequent. In drier regions, it may hold longer. This isn't a set it and forget it solution. It's a maintenance strategy. All right, let me pause right here for a second. I want to hear from you. Drop your state or city in the comments below. Tell me, have you ever dealt with a rat or mouse problem? Did you try anything natural, or did you go straight to the exterminators? And here's what I really want to know. Had you ever heard of using cayenne pepper this way before today? If this is new to you, you are not alone. This kind of practical, overlooked knowledge is exactly what Fixvival Secrets is built around. So if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now, because what we cover here, you won't find packaged up this way anywhere else. Now, let's get into the actual how-to. Before you apply anything, you need to know where the problem is coming from. Walk the perimeter of your home, inside and out. Look for gaps around pipes, utility lines, vents, and the foundation. Rats can squeeze through openings as small as a quarter. Mice can fit through a dime-sized gap. Mark your problem areas. Then gather your materials. You'll need ground cayenne pepper. Bulk is fine. A small squeeze bottle or fine mesh shaker. Gloves to protect your hands and eyes. And optionally, small cloth sachets or cotton balls for indoor placement. Total cost? Usually under $5. For outdoor use, sprinkle a visible line of ground cayenne pepper along foundation edges, around known entry points, and near any debris or wood piles that might offer shelter. Focus on corners and shadowed areas. Rats move along walls and edges, not through open spaces. Reapply after rain. In dry climates, weekly or bi-weekly application is usually sufficient. For a spray, mix 2 tablespoons of cayenne pepper into a quart of water. Add a few drops of dish soap to help it stick to surfaces, shake well, and apply around exterior walls underneath decks and along known travel paths. Keep it away from edible garden plants in large quantities, and keep it away from your pets' sensitive areas. Capsaicin affects them too. For inside the home, near cabinets, pantry baseboards, or under appliances, use small cotton balls dabbed with cayenne-infused oil or loosely filled cloth sachets. Place them in corners at the back of cabinets or near suspected entry points. Replace every 1 to 2 weeks. And here's the honest truth. Cayenne works best when it's part of a system. Seal gaps with steel wool or caulk wherever possible. Remove food sources. Keep garbage cans sealed. Cayenne can discourage, but a rat that is hungry and desperate will push past discomfort. Use it as a layer, not a lone solution. Let's be real with each other for a moment. Cayenne pepper is not an exterminator. It is not a guaranteed fix. Heavy infestations require professional intervention. No spice in your cabinet is going to address a colony that's already established inside your walls or attic. If you're hearing sustained activity, finding droppings in multiple areas, or seeing rats during daylight hours, those are signs of a serious problem that needs licensed help. Cayenne also requires commitment. It washes away. It breaks down over time. And in some environments, wet, heavily trafficked areas, it may have limited impact. Those with respiratory sensitivities should avoid inhaling the dust and wear a mask when applying in enclosed spaces. Be thoughtful about where you place it around pets. This is practical knowledge, not a shortcut. We're coming up on the end now, and I want to leave you with something real. What you heard today isn't some fringe idea. It's a piece of practical, historically grounded knowledge that predates the modern pest control industry by thousands of years. It was used by farmers, homesteaders, and everyday people across cultures and continents, not because it was magic, but because it was available, affordable, and in many cases, it helped. Does it always work? No. Will it solve a severe infestation on its own? Absolutely not. But as part of a thoughtful approach to protecting your home, on a budget, without harsh chemicals, using something already in your kitchen, it's worth understanding. As always, this video is for educational purposes only. Please research local regulations around pest management in your area. If you're dealing with a significant infestation, consult a licensed professional. Your health and safety always come first. Now, I want you to think about this. How much money do people spend every year trying to fix problems that older, simpler methods might help address? Not because newer solutions are bad, but because knowledge has a way of getting buried when it stops being profitable to share. That's what Fixvival Secrets is here for. Next time, we're going behind another everyday item, one that most people throw in the trash, and looking at the surprising role it may play in home protection. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. If you found value in today's video, subscribe. Share it with someone who's been struggling with this. Drop a comment telling me where you're from and whether you're going to try this, because this community is built on people who want to know more, do more, and rely a little less on systems that profit from keeping us dependent. Stay practical, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.